Nazar in with a shot, scores! Frank Nazar, 10 seconds in.
Chicago on the other end gets the lead on the goal for Frank Nazar. His first NHL goal this season, and Nazar has the Hawks ahead.
Here's 𝗦𝗏, stop, they score on the rebound. Nazar puts it in.
The relentlessness of Frank Nazar.
Nazar with a chance to put the Hawks up by 2. In on 𝗏 scores! A beauty on the backhand.
Welcome back to the Chicago Lead. David Hawk, Cam Smith, Jake Butt, and now it's time to welcome in our next guest, the Blackhawk forward and IIHF world champion. Sounds pretty good. Frank Nazar, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to get going.
So, Frank, you were a world champion. You guys won that tournament, Team USA, for the first time since 1933, making history, and you were a big part of the reason why, leading the team in points. Just looking back, how special was that experience?
It was awesome. It's it's nothing like you can imagine. Playing for your country and for your colors, and be able to go and do something that hasn't been done in 92 years. And with that group was just so amazing and such a great experience. My
guess is that it provided a ton of confidence, and you bring that momentum likely into next season. You had a great year last year. You made a huge step forward. Just curious, when you look at your progress and the evolution of your career, how big of a springboard could this be?
Honestly, it was great. Before the tournament, I was kind of deciding whether or not I would want to go or enjoy the extra long summer, to just train and get better, having a big season coming up this year. And I was like, how can you pass up playing for your country and playing for USA? And I went and enjoyed my time and just played my heart out and had the most fun I've had playing hockey in a while. And it's definitely was great to be able to put the puck in the net that many times and just enjoy that competition and that type of hockey.
Frank, I'm sure your new head coach, Jeff Blashill, enjoyed watching you have fun and win at a high level with the IIHF championship there. So for yourself, when you think of Jeff Blashill and his extensive coaching resume, what are your first impressions of him now that he's taken over the Blackhawks and how you fit into his scheme?
Yeah, I'm super excited to work with him. I've talked to him in the past with USA Hockey, and I've talked to him now leading up to throughout the summer since he's been hired. And honestly, he sounds great, super confident in the group we have and what we're going to do next year. And, I grew up in Detroit, so I've been around him coaching and watching him and the Wings play. And I think it's going to be great. He's a great guy who works hard and cares for every guy on the ice and on the team. And, he's very smart and knows a lot about the game. So I think that, we need something to help move this group to the next level. And, these guys believe in him, and so do I.
Frankie, another coach is 𝗏 and you worked with him when he was an assistant at Team USA. So what do you think he adds to this staff?
Yeah, he's great. It was awesome, get to know him over in Worlds and joke around with him and see him and his family and everyone, just laugh and have a great time. And, he put me net front on the power play there, and I was a little confused at first, wondering what I was doing there. Not the biggest body, but had two nice goals there against Czech that helped out. But he was great to work with over there, and I'm excited for this moving forward with him too.
𝗏 is another assistant coach on the staff. He was, as a player, a very good defensive forward. He was a guy who won the Селки Award a couple different times. When you look at your own game, how can a guy like that help you maybe be a better two-way player all on both ends of the ice? Everyone knows you for your offense, Frank, and I think that's why you have stood out. But can a guy like 𝗏 help you also round out your game a little bit?
100%. Obviously, with the history he has with the game, and just his strengths and stuff he knows is going to help a ton. And Blashill worked with Braden Point too, so I think using what Pex can bring and what Blash can bring, and using those two things to kind of help round out my game, and obviously other guys in the team. I think that's going to be a huge part and a huge step.
All right, Frank, you have 56 games underneath your belt with the Blackhawks in your professional career. But when you look back on how you've grown from where you started last season, because you were with the Rockford Ice Hogs in the AHL, to where you are now, how have you grown your game really on both ends of the ice to make yourself a better player for this Blackhawks team?
I think it's been huge that, honestly, that I started in Rockford. A lot of guys view it as something that could be bad, but honestly, I had a blast. I thought it was great, and went down there and just built so much confidence, and being able to play, almost in every position and every scenario, 5-on-4, 4-on-5, 6-on-5, all around the board, and play so many minutes and play against younger guys that are very skilled that you're going to play against in the future. And I think it helped a ton and helped grow my confidence in the game, and just honestly understanding of pro hockey and how to treat my body. And I'm sure you guys know it, but it's a different story and a different game than coming from college to pro, and just being able to do that every day to day, and you got to take care of yourself, and that's huge. And being able to start that in Rockford and build that throughout the rest of the year helped a ton. And honestly, I'm super thankful.
Frank, you're part of a young, talented core that's really coming up at the same time. So I'm curious how you would describe your on and off relationship between you and guys like Connor Bedard, Sam Ritzel, Oliver Moore, and some of those other younger guys.
It's been a blast. The last few games are honestly so fun, and the new guys that came in helped make it. They fit in right away. They were making jokes and they're laughing with us and having fun. And I think the Blackhawks did a great job of starting that early. And I mean, we go to all these camps, these development camps and everything in the summers, and we get to know these guys and understand them, and create bonds and make jokes with them. And that just helps so much lean into something like this when guys sign and they come play a few games. And I think we've got a great group of young guys who just get along very well and hang out off the ice and just crack jokes. And we were laughing a ton, and we were winning there at the end. And I think those two things go hand in hand. Hockey's supposed to be fun. That's why you start playing it. And when you have a group of guys that you have fun with and you get and understand, you can do something special.
I know you're watching the Stanley Cup final. I know you know where it stands and how the Panthers dominated after two of the best first games in a series you're ever going to find. What's your impression of how ugly it got the other night with all the fighting? And when do you think Connor McDavid is going to arrive?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty entertaining to watch. I saw the stat, what was the fourth most penalty minutes and the Cup playoffs history or finals history. It's pretty nuts. And I mean, these two teams hate each other. You can tell. It's their second year going at it. And I mean, Wallman spraying water at the guy on the bench. You're like, what's going on here? And it's just, I mean, it's very entertaining and fun to watch. And honestly, I hope for more of it. I think it's great. I love it. There's been a lot of penalties though, which kind of takes away from some of the game. But I think it's been fun to watch and very entertaining.
Well, David, I don't know if you know, but we're in the company of legends right now. One, and Frank Nazar, that played his hockey at Michigan. Jake Butt, a legend at Michigan on the football field. So
Michigan men.
Yeah, these are Michigan men for sure. True blue guys. So when you look at the great moments in Michigan sports history for the University of Michigan, I'm going to put you to the test, Frank. Is Desmond Howard striking the Heisman Trophy poles better than Mike Legg's Michigan goal in '96? I'm not going to ask Jake. I'm focused right on you, Frank. You got to give me the answer.
Honestly, yeah, I think so. The Heisman, come on, that's so much aura right there.
Where would you rank the national title? Because Michigan, I've been curious about this. Michigan, we pride ourselves on our history. We stroke our own ego. We call ourselves the leaders and the best. But how about the 15-0 national title season? Where does that rank in your memories of all-time Michigan moments?
Honestly, it's got to be up there. Just pure domination by that team. They were unbelievable. Just Corum and McCarthy and the rest of the group and the defense, they deserve a ton of credit. They did it a lot. They did it all. And, seeing those guys come back and parade around the city. And, after they won, they're burning couches in the street and everyone's running around. shaking their heads off. And it was pretty cool and pretty, like, it was just something you can't imagine. It was pretty awesome.
Hate to interrupt this reunion, guys, but okay, let's get to the current day. But last week was the NHL Combine. A lot of prospects gathered. And Frank, the Blackhawks posted a photo of you, 2022. You were just looking like a little younger than you look right now, but you're not the grizzled, now you're a grizzled veteran. What comes to mind when you see that version of Frank Nazar?
Well, I'm glad my lower body kind of grew into my head looking a little bit, but the trash one. Honestly, like, pretty similar. Just grew out the facial hair. That's about it. It's growing a little faster as you get older.
Anything else about
I don't know
the
about the number, though. Landon
84.
Slager can keep that number.
You see any other photos that stood out about your teammates now, looking at what the Hawks posted here of guys who were at the Combine when they were at the Combine?
I saw one of Turbo, and it was pretty funny, just how small and little and young he looked. It was pretty funny to see him back then. I would have liked to see one of like Patty Maroon. I think that one would have been good, but the Foligno one was funny to see him with hair too. That made me chuckle.
Pat Maroon's might have been in black and white. It was that long ago. Frank Nazar, thanks so much for joining us. You had a terrific season last year and look for even better things ahead. Have a great rest of your summer.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, after the break, we're going to wrap the Chicago lead with more Bears talk before we hand it over to our guys, Chuck Garfien and 𝗦cie 𝗰𝗶𝗹. Stay with us on the Chicago Sports Network.